What is going on, people? I just got back from the gym. I did an Instagram post, and as you can tell, I'm sat in my car. I haven't planned this video in any way whatsoever. I've just uploaded a picture here, and I look fucking ridiculous. Like, looking at the image, without a doubt, like, even now, I'd be like, that guy's on gear. Instagram can be misleading, and like, I always used to take a lot more realistic photos, and this is the only time I'm gonna say this. This is the only time I'm gonna come on here and explain to you that I take the best fucking photos possible, and everyone does it. But I used to have like, I used to think it was inauthentic, or I used to think it was like giving people false impressions if I took always absolutely amazing images and took a few things every now and then that like showed me it, like without a pump, etc, etc. But then everyone does it. Everyone on Instagram takes a photo in the best light with the best pump. I sometimes do it post sauna, so I'm like really vascular. They just optimize everything so they look twice as fucking good in the image that are taken on Instagram versus real life. And I'm not going to come on here and be like, oh, it's giving people false body image and body image issues. Do you know what I mean? If you want to go and, we're not fucking teenage girls if you're watching this, but equally it can be disheartening if like you're unaware of this fact. I will go upstairs, I'll put it on screen now, and I will take my top off in about 5 minutes from now and show you what I look like now my pump has subsided and I'm in normal lighting. And like, I don't want to make this about some like cliche like, oh, like bad light versus good light and this like bullshit Instagram post that people do on Instagram, not because they actually care about like misleading their followers, just because they want to get, like, they know it does well and they know they're going to gain from it. I'm going to continue misleading people, like showing myself in the best possible light, because at the end of the day it's a fucking dog world out there and it's my job. But I'm just gonna, if you're on this video, I just want to kind of show you, like, if I obviously care for you enough. If you're on my YouTube channel, you're like you're a bit closer to me than on Instagram. I just want to show you that like not all is as it seems. You can't constantly compare yourself to people you see on Instagram, and if you do compare yourself, compare your best possible images that you have. Use those images to compare, because like a lot of the time, like there's days and like in bad light, or like in the gym, like I look like a brick shit house, but like there's days in shitty light, or maybe I've had like I'm a bit bloated, I'm a bit watery like in the evenings, and I look nothing like I do in my images. I'm not always full, I'm not always pumped, I look small a lot of the time, and you know what, I don't fucking mind that, you know, because I quite like being able to put on normal clothes and not looking like a freak. Don't beat yourself up over the Instagram posts of other people. You will meet a lot. I've spent a lot of time with some of the biggest guys in the industry, in the fitness industry, big juicy guys, and they look absolutely phenomenal. Even people that are natural, etc, etc, they look absolutely phenomenal, but no one looks like they do on Instagram. No one, literally no one looks like they do on Instagram, even though people might be natural or not natural. And even though people are going to lie about it and take steroids anyway and be not natural but claim natural, it's like the differences in genetics as well, the differences in genes, the difference in bone structure, the differences in muscle insertions, muscle bellies, like the differences in how quickly someone can put on mass. That gap, or that spacing between genetic elites and people with normal genetics and people with shit genetics, is probably going to be as big as the gap as people that take steroids versus don't take steroids. I don't give a shit who's taking steroids and who's not, and who lies about it and who doesn't. It doesn't fucking bother me, because like obviously people can look sick, you can aspire to be your very best, but at the end of the day, like, you have got a certain set of genetics that you have been given, and you have to play the cards that you work with. And it used to really bother me, and I think it's just out of jealousy. When I was younger, when I wasn't doing as well as I'd like to do, I wanted to make more money, sell more programs, I wanted to be bigger in the fitness industry, have more followers, have more notoriety. It used to really bother me when like I knew people were taking shit and they would lie about it. But now I just don't fucking care, which is why I take steroids and lie about it. No, joking. But now literally I couldn't give any less of a shit, because as I've trained for over 10 years now, as I've trained and learned more about training and met more people and met them in real life, number one, you realize not everything is as it seems on Instagram. Everyone's just showing themselves in their best light. And number two, the genetic disparities are absolutely huge, and you might have absolutely shit genetics. I think I have pretty good genetics, obviously bar the leg, but no one's ever going to admit to having shit something. Everyone wants to be average, but not everyone is average, because average is the be the middle. There's always going to be people on the bottom and on the top of that. Point I'm trying to make is, don't beat yourself up over the images of other people. Like, I literally look at my images now and be like, if I looked at it from a third person point of view, I'd be like, that guy's probably on gear. Like, even though it's like my own images, I'll be like, that guy's probably on gear if it wasn't me. If you asked me 3 years ago, I'd be like, that guy is 100,000% bet my whole fucking family's life that guy's on gear. Not actually betting that, touch wood. I would confidently say that, because like, I'm like, there's no way you can get to that naturally. But now that I realize pumps, lighting, it just makes such a huge difference, man. Such a huge difference. I'm demonstrating here right now. This is literally an hour apart, and it's like, when you see that, you'll realize that you're not doing as badly as you thought, if you are beating yourself up over like not being to where you want to be. So just compare your best images with the best images of other people if you want to compare, and just bear in mind like the whole genetics and the fake natty thing. And that's not saying that you can't get to an absolutely fantastic level naturally, even if you have shit genetics. Like my mate Tom, I used to call him mastectomy Tom. Do you know where you get your tits removed when you've had I laugh at this, and people are probably gonna, I'm probably gonna cancel myself right now, but I don't really give a fuck. When you have a mastectomy and get your tits removed due to breast cancer. My grandma had it. My other people in my family have various things involving that, so I'm entitled to make a joke about it because that's exactly how it works. But anyway, we used to call him mastectomy Tom because his chest used to be shit, his physique used to be pretty shit. Sorry Tom, mate, I'm just fucking absolutely ruining you. But the point I'm trying to make is he trained for like 2-3 years, looks pretty shit. And I just kind of thought like, maybe he just has the worst genetics in the world, which he probably does, but he's stuck at it. He's stayed consistent. I don't know how long he's been training for now. He's got a good few years training under his belt, and just consistently put in the work, the time and the fucking effort. And now he looks absolutely fantastic and is going to compete and could probably beat me. Well, I don't know about that. Could maybe place near me on a stage in like a natty physique competition. He won't mind me saying this. He accepts it. Like, he says it himself. And it's like, but even then, if you have got shitty muscle building genetics, dude, the guy is like 70 kilos. Like normal weight. If I was 70 kilos, I'd be like fucking starving. Like I'd be like looking like the Machinist or something, Christian Bale. But he sits at like 70 kilos, like naturally, if he didn't train. That's how he sits. But I probably sit about 85. I've got like an extra 10 kilos on him, and we are the exact same height. So like, even if your genetics aren't optimal, you can still do an fuck ton with them, man, through time, patience, always putting in the work, perseverance, and just like smashing the sessions. And it's people like Tom and people that I know that like don't have the best genetics but have really good physiques, and I know for a fact have never taken anything in their lives. I've even tried to get him to like take Clem back in the day when I was taking it for the competition prep, and he's like, absolutely not. The point I'm trying to make is only through like being in the fitness industry and doing this for so long, and like obviously there's a lot of rotten apples in there. A lot of people, I'd say, like, maybe not so much now because it's a bit more widely accepted to be not natural, but there are a lot of people that are gonna publicly lie about being on stuff. But there are also a lot of like physiques that I would literally bet my life on are natural and are absolutely phenomenal. Like, talking of genetics, Labumba, he is without a doubt 100% on my life, my girlfriend's life, my family's life. He is natural. I wake up tomorrow, they're all fucking dead. No, I literally, like, I know him so well. Like, I've stayed with him for like days, weeks. Like, I know that he is natural. He wouldn't even pop a fucking disco biscuit with me or any kind of like narcotic drugs, because he's so against like anything going into his body that isn't completely natural. So, and that's just like obviously a testament for hard work and also genetics, but it just goes to show, man, like the spectrum of what you think is possible is, for a lot of people, is a lot greater than you think. And even if you're not sure like what's natty and not, who gives a fuck? Don't taint everyone being like, all these people are cheating. Find out for yourself, like, put in the work, put in 5-6 years of training hard, and I think you'll be very surprised at what you do. I had a bit of an epiphany when I was going through a stage of thinking everyone was a fake natural. It's much easier to believe that everyone else is cheating rather than you haven't put in the work, or maybe you haven't got what it takes to put in the work. It is much less painful to say that everyone else is cheating and has an unfair advantage than actually having like an introspective look into yourself and being like, okay, maybe I could be a bit more on it with the diet. Maybe it could be a bit more on it with the training, the structured training. Get on a program, get a plan, get a coach. It's a lot easier to blame others and a lot less painful than it is to blame yourself. But yeah, anyway, I went off a bit on a tangent. I should probably go into the house now because I'm sat in the car like an absolute weirdo, steaming it up on my street. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on not beating yourself up with Instagram, like the actual reality behind like how people actually look, and just bearing that in mind, man. I've been very lucky in the sense that like I've been in this game quite a while, and I know a lot of the people that I looked up to and still do look up to, like, they're also my friends, so I know what they look like topless, and I know that a lot of the guys that look absolutely fucking wham, especially the natty dudes on Instagram, aren't actually that big, and yeah, it's deceiving. It's a deceptive world out there. But anyway, on that note, I'm gonna go and sit inside instead of in my car like an absolute widow. Peace out, love, it's a bit. Thank you, good night.